If people get vaccinated, we're going to have an awesome summer. It will look and feel really close to normal. I'm really hopeful we're going to have a fabulous summer, that the summer of 2021 is going to look a lot more like the summer of 2019 than last summer. I'm hoping that, we're going to be able to hang out with friends and see family and do a lot of the things that really matter. Now, all of this is really contingent on people getting vaccinated. If a large chunk of people choose not to get vaccinated, then we're still going to be seeing big outbreaks, particularly among young people. What we're seeing right now is essentially two big things happening in the pandemic, and they look like they're essentially canceling each other out. The pandemic for older people over 65, is largely over. If you look at younger people, teenagers, people in their 20s and 30s, the cases are exploding. I mean, we're just seeing horrible numbers of infections, a lot of young people getting hospitalized, unfortunately, young people starting to die. And so if you look at the younger population, it looks like, oh my God, we're in the worst days of the pandemic. And put them both together, and nationally, it looks pretty flat. It looks like, oh, we're not better, we're not worse. But actually underneath it are two different stories. And obviously, I'm thrilled that older people are getting protected, but I'm very worried about what's happening among young people across the country. I think in the next few weeks, you're going to see a lifting of mask mandates for outdoors, and that's quite safe. Indoors, of course, infection numbers are still high, and that's where most of the infections spread. So you want to be careful on indoor mask mandates for a bit longer. It'll be different in terms of safety for people who are vaccinated versus people who are not. My general feeling has been that until everybody who wants a vaccine gets one, we should keep as many of these restrictions to protect those people. But my sense is by the time we get into the summer, I think most of the mask mandates will be gone. It'll still be a good idea to wear masks in certain high-risk situations. Travel will become much safer. And I expect most of the public health restrictions to really be pulled back, with really a focus just on sort of super high-risk things like large indoor gatherings, which will continue to pose a challenge for a while. Once people are vaccinated, and we have a large proportion of America vaccinated, certainly traveling within the United States is going to get pretty safe. International travel will depend a lot on what's happening in other countries. There are places like England that are doing great. They've done a fabulous job of vaccinating people, and I expect traveling there will be easy. A lot of the world is still struggling right now. We've got really large outbreaks in large parts of the world. Travel to other countries, travel from those countries will continue to be a bit of a challenge. This is why I think it's so important for Americans to finish getting vaccinated, and then we got to take all the extra vaccines we have and we got to send it around the world and get the world vaccinated, because it's a global pandemic and it won't come to an end until we have a global solution. Look, we've got to get the whole world vaccinated. And right now, you have 4 or 5 countries that have almost all the vaccines. That's not good. It's bad for equity. We got to make sure that people around the world are getting access. But it's also just bad for the pandemic, because when you have large outbreaks happening in other places, you have new variants, new things that can cause problems with people who are already vaccinated. So the big picture point here is we all want this pandemic to end. We all want it to be over. And there's only one way the pandemic ends, and that's when the world gets vaccinated.